Welcome, world. Welcome to another episode of Talk with Us. Today, we got Hip on today. We're going to just chat it up and talk today about whatever was ever, what's ever clever. This is my man Hip. He can introduce himself and let you know his credentials. Go ahead.
Hey Marcus, what's going on, world? My name's Hip. I'm in Seattle, Washington right now, working in real estate. Met Marcus, gosh, how long has it been in Vegas?
It's been some years.
Yeah, working in sales.
Yeah.
So I always like sales, and working with people, and mostly just pivoted, my ability to sell in the real estate and just kind of matching buyers and sellers. So that's kind of like me in a nutshell. I'm sure there's more to unpack we can talk about, but
Yeah.
me and Marcus, we love to talk, about everything. So
So we gonna get into that today. Yeah, sales is part of our backbone. So I've been in it. I've been in it for a long time too. So I know the ups and downs and the good times and the bad times and the fighting and going on as we currently are seeing with Southwest.
oh my gosh, customer service.
Oh, it's been hilarious. Just watching all the memes. But also it's tragic if people got stuck places, that they didn't want to be or stuck, trying to get home for Christmas or go visit stuff people for Christmas. Uh, but from seeing what I've seen, you know, it's just bad luck and bad timing for all these people to get stuck and all these canceled flights. But I don't know if you know and the world know a lot. They try to blame it on the weather, which weather did have a part of all the cancellations. As you know, I think you was telling me where you was at. Y'all had ice storms and stuff like that, correct?
Yeah, so
Yeah, so they said some hubs went down. They try to blame it on the weather. Comes to find out, the weather did stop some of the flights, but their system crashed. And their system crashed because they're running on an old system. What I mean, we could say they were running on Windows 98, Windows XP, and they were supposed to upgrade their system back during the pandemic when the government gave them all that money to bail them out, which all we heard all the airlines did, but Southwest decided to take that money and create more flights and crash the system. So, and it just a domino effect. So it's been happening. All right, what you hear about it? What you feel about it?
well, I just heard the latest news reports about Southwest. I do have some opinions about it. Mostly, Alaska is kind of the big carrier here in Seattle. And they had a bunch of cancellations. I think more than Southwest, but Southwest was like overall the highest as far as carriers went nationwide. But yeah, my so it was like what, the 22nd, just this month, right before Christmas, my son had to travel, and we had that ice storm that came after. We had a snowstorm and then a break kind of, and then the ice storm. And so there were cancellations and delays. We lucked out that one day, but so upon the return, I hear more about, like, because this is he just came back on Tuesday. I forget what day we're on right now, but yeah, he just got back Tuesday. That was like a 3-hour delay. Like I literally left to the airport at 11:30 at night. Originally, it was supposed to come in at 8 p.m., like his flight. So it was delayed till 12:30 a.m. So, my gosh. The bags took like almost an hour after he landed. and like I didn't get home until like 2 in the morning. We didn't get home till like 2 in the morning.
Wow. Yeah, I feel your
And then I
pain.
hear all this stuff about Southwest, what you were talking about, and then how their systems were probably what kind of failed everyone, and all the money. I'm just hearing about it. So like, you know, you can tell me more about like, I guess,
Well,
this
yeah,
that I hear like a lot of that stimulus money, you know what I mean? And that's like robbery in my opinion, but
yeah. Well, we're
you
gonna
know what I
see.
mean, of the people. So
Yeah, we're gonna see if they do anything about it, if they get in trouble. This is like these big government places. I mean, not government places, big corporations and stuff get away with. You almost want to say they get away with everything.
is
Uh,
this kind of a repeat to you? Like, like kind of similar, to the '08 time frame. I mean, did you go through that?
with what in 08?
Crash, like the how they bailed out banks and stuff like
Oh
that.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I
Like
think
when
it,
they first kind of did the money printing thing, they called it
yeah,
one
because during the pandemic, you gotta what
easy.
everything ceased, everything stopped, traveling stopped, stuff of products and stuff being moved around the country just kind of came to a stop. And flying was one of them. I even got on a flight during the pandemic and it was like, they were like, sit where you want to sit. And I was like, shit, sit anywhere you want. The plane was open. It was probably maximum 20 people in there. The money that they made off them tickets wasn't even probably a quarter of the gas they needed to put in the plane. So,
I mean, yeah, I can just jump on bashing like these, you know, uh, gigantic corporations. You know what I mean? That they work with governments. I mean, they're just big enough to be a government. Seems like,
yeah.
Also.
I think out of this situation, somebody gonna lose their job. And I think it's going to be that CEO, but he was over there. I seen pictures. He was
You
like
know
he's
what though?
headache ever.
Yeah, I mean, these guys. I mean, what's a job anymore? You know what I mean? Like, if you just like you run off with like a bag full of cash. You know what I mean? Like, you can float yourself. You know what I mean? Like, you can not be a CEO and probably be okay. You know what I mean? Like, because they just, I think a lot of, I think that's where I'm seeing a lot of this extra money. Like, it's just, I, I I'm not even one to prove any, you know what I mean? But it's just like, where did it all go? You know what I mean? Who said it? I think Jim Rohn said this quote. He says this one quote which I like. He's like, what was it? When a person with experience meets a person with money, the person with the money gets to gain the experience. The person with the experience gets the money. So it's like, you know, in the end, like it's been done before. You know what I mean? And a lot of uh, you know, people of the world, like they just, it's just kind of something that we're used to doing. So like we can just pay more money because we're consumers. You know what I mean? So when the prices of goods go up,
Right.
you know what
Yeah.
I mean? We're already kind of trained to do a lot of these things that I supposedly the smarter people, you know what I mean? Because what does that make me then? You know what I mean? Like if I'm part of the, you know what I mean? Like the
Right.
9% or whatever.
Yeah, but yeah, I guess 2002 got to go out in the bang, and this is the bang of the
2022.
yeah, oh, my bad.
Oh,
That's
22. Yeah, yeah.
2022. Yeah, got to go out in the bang, I guess, with this little tragedy. But I do understand your pain. You said the time your son had to come home. Mine, he's still stuck on the other side of the country. So
Yeah.
after first of the year, with this debacle with Southwest. Um, but also with that, dude, I have heard that Southwest people are saying Southwest is not giving people nothing, they're not helping people out. You got to people, if you're listening, if you have families or whatever, just go out there and call Southwest because this is BS. They're trying to blame it off on the weather. If they put it on a natural disaster, they don't have to compensate people for things. but it's not actual a natural disaster that's causing your system to go out. It's an outdated system. So you are allowed to get something from it. You just have to call them and file a claim, or you can go online and file a claim with anything extra expenses or anything you had to do. But hopefully they get their stuff together. But Southwest, I used to ride with y'all. Hopefully y'all don't screw me over. But yeah, it's been been some funny ones. I see videos from other airlines. You know, people talking about, hey, I ain't today. They come up here and mess with me, cuss at me, yell at me. You know, hey, go fly a kite. That's what I heard some of the other people said at the other airlines. They said we're here to help because they had to cancel flights too and stuff like that because everything got over. You know, with the weather too. But it's being a little rough out there.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in other news,
I got Southwest credits too. I mean, that's just from me, just because one thing I like about Southwest, is their lower fares and stuff. I used to travel between Vegas and Seattle like once a year, for over a decade, and even like when I trained with the company, they flew us, to use like the reward miles to get a free flight. So like for those 5 weeks, what I mean, of sales training, stuff like that. So I mean, but then I watch stocks and stuff like that too. And you know what I mean? And then all this stimulus stuff too. Like, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know who to trust. I mean, there's not much trust left, you know what I mean? When you're like, you're working with like this carrier is the only you can only book direct through Southwest. You can't go and buy, because I used to work in the travel business too. I sold travel. And so when we were trying to put packages together, like with different airlines, you know what I mean, to go to different destinations, I mean, you always have to check Southwest separate. So to your point about like their system almost kind of being separate from the rest of, you know what I mean? Like the network of airlines, they use kind of like major city hubs, you know what I mean? Like a hub and spoke kind of, and that's how they do their flight.
they kind of do, yeah. You
This
can't.
one's like they have their own network, so when that goes down, I mean, there's not much else that maybe that's the call. I don't know, you know what I mean? But we did a lot of troubleshooting in our line of work, right? So like part of troubleshooting, like why this failed is like, well, what's the root cause? You know what I mean? And
And they
it
don't.
was weather because look, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, and they don't work with nobody else. Yeah,
yeah,
but you just said you have
it
to
wasn't just weather. You're right.
yeah, you book with them, you booking right through their website, or sometimes you can go through Chase because they're affiliated with them. And
Okay.
I understand the point system because I've flown with them several times and only having to pay taxes because of the points that I accrued.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they're not screwing me over on my
Yeah,
flight.
get their customer service to refund back any of those reasonable expenses too. And then, just keep
I'd like to
escalating.
move on to another subject that we both love that we can probably get into too is the sports world.
Haha, yeah, sports.
You already know Seahawks doing this year.
Oh yeah, they're doing great. They're the best team on the planet, by the way. If you hadn't subscribed to the Seahawks yet.
Hey, y'all know what
Maybe it's like next year. I mean, I'm still holding this Super Bowl winner ticket. You know what I mean? They still have like a slim. What's their percentage odds now to get in? You don't even pay attention to that anymore.
look.
You're like
I
we're
don't think y'all
100%
in.
in. So yeah.
Yeah, I think y'all is out. Let's every other team just decided
No,
to see
no,
to take a dump.
yeah. I mean, it's Washington. The Commanders is our one. That's our. You know what I mean? That's our.
Ticket.
That's good. I mean, it's like whoever the slowest or weak, you know what I mean? So right now we're eyeing the Commanders and trying to get that 7th spot. So we'll see if
Right.
we
Well,
can.
I'm riding the high. I mean,
Yeah.
off the low right now with the my team 49ers, which they'll be in town this weekend. If anybody catches this video before the game, if you got some tickets, let me know. Trying to get there. But
Who are you guys playing?
Grand Raiders.
Oh, you got to go there, man. You got to go check it out. I mean, have you been to the stadium yet?
No, I haven't been to the stadium. And, hey, those
How
tickets.
about Pro Bowl? They're going there too.
Pro Bowl tickets. That's the last I've seen it, like 80 bucks.
That's fair.
Yeah, with this tickets to the game this weekend is like ridiculous. $500,000 for some tickets.
Yeah. I believe that. Yeah.
Yeah, so but we're gonna try to pull it out this weekend. We're riding high right now. That it is also kind of scary because we are riding high on our third quarterback. So gotta watch out for that fall. We don't want that fall to happen in the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah, no,
we
man. I mean, Raiders are kind of one of those teams that, I mean, yeah. I mean, I just wish you guys good luck against the Raiders because, man, those guys are like, because I hate rooting for them and then I hate rooting against them too. Like, I do some sports betting, obviously, and then I play fantasy also. So, like, I had Devonte Adams, from the Raiders, they've had, I mean, they've had ups and downs, and they might still have, do they have an inkling of a shot or are they completely zero chance?
I think they're
Because
I think they're done as far as getting in the playoffs. Um, and you guys don't know, they said Carr has actually been benched.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's more than just about his play, about being benched. It's about some money stuff and seeing that they can trade him. Because right now, if they don't bench him for this game, which is January 1st, if he plays, they will have to pay him. Yeah,
Oh, yeah, more about, like me, like, yeah, I don't even get into like the money side of it so much. Like, I'm just learning, like, about how the trades and draft picks and stuff like that are working. It's kind of
right.
like,
So, well, learning that you have to learn that there's a difference between physical year and NFL year when they start. So, in their contracts and way certain player contracts are set up, even if the team wants to get rid of you or for any other reason, depending on when they want to get rid of you, how your contract's set up, you'll still get paid, regardless. So, like, let's say if Carr does play on Sunday and the Raiders want to trade him, they can trade or get rid of him, but they'll still have to pay him the guaranteed money of $40 million. So by him not playing past the first of the year, they can say, oh, sit down, we can bench you, cut you from the team, or if somebody wants to pick you up, they can, and then they won't have to pay him that $40 million guarantee.
oh wow.
So that's why some players, you understand, like some players get traded at a certain time, players get benched at certain times. You're like, why are you benching him? He's not hurt, he's like this, because sometimes it's about contract and money things are looking into the future. So, and good luck, Carr. I don't know, the people in the city, I see so many memes and videos. It's just like they're starting to hate this man. But he has not been playing that good. There's been a lot of games I watched where I'm like, hey man, you missing open players, you're not getting the ball to them. But you can't always blame fully on the quarterback. Sometimes it's the rest of your team. Hey, I threw the ball to you, you dropped it. Hit you in your chest, you dropped it. Hey, coach wanted to go run this play, that's the play we ran. But it's all a system. But
Yeah,
sorry, Raiders.
it's true. Yeah.
But they put in another quarterback. You
I
never know.
really wanted them to do well too this year, but yeah.
Yeah, they
I mean,
too.
just for Vegas real estate, you know what I mean? Like, you just, because the stadium, you know what I mean? Seeing it get built, from the ground up, you know what I mean? There's lots to be proud of, you know what I mean, for the city. So I think having an NFL team is huge, I think you guys matching up against them will just be a nice, fun game. I don't know that it will do much, for playoffs, I don't, what I mean?
Well,
Either team.
yeah, it can do a little bit.
Uh-huh.
You have to wait on some other teams. Hopefully, some other teams
And
lose.
you guys have a chance. You guys are already home field though, right?
I don't think so. We're third, so I think we'll need to get into that second place to get home field. So I mean, that's what we could be fighting for that to get the home field advantage, which would be nice.
Oh, okay. I thought all division winners, or I don't know how it's working this year, but I thought all division winners get home field
I might have to look it up and see how that works.
because the top one will get the bye out of each conference. So
Might
like,
be. It
Yeah,
might
so
be.
like
Well, yeah, the top conference. So in ours, the
record,
Eagles get the bye.
Eagles would get the bye, yeah.
Right. And I know a lot of Dallas fans are not looking forward to playing us or the Eagles.
Yeah, so like that's crazy. I mean, I just, I mean, just to see like four, division, four teams in the same division, the NFC East, you know what I mean? That's why we're trying to just bounce those, commanders out. You know what I mean?
Right,
You
like,
play three from the
yeah,
West,
like how y'all can't get in the playoffs, and then you got the NFC South. I mean, it's like, oh my god,
right? Yeah.
they just trying to get Brady in there, and it looks like they about to inch
They,
Rodgers.
they lost last week too, right? Yeah. So Tampa
Mhm.
Bay.
Like they trying to keep him in there, and Rodgers still has a chance to.
Now it opens up for Rodgers. But these guys are saying like, one thing that kind of like irked me a little bit was like, if Green Bay wins two more games, they've got a spot, and I'm like, wait, how did they leak? Like, that's like, okay, that's kind of like saying if we win two more games, because we're ahead of them, you know what I mean? Like,
Yep, it's
I just
crazy.
don't, I think it's just all hype, you know what I mean? But I'm like, what does that really mean? That's almost like making a prediction that we're not gonna win out, like the Seahawks are not gonna win out. I get it, like we had a tough stretch, you know what I mean? Like the last half of the year, pretty much. But
Yeah,
like,
I was banging out at the beginning. I was like, oh man, it's
I
about to
mean,
be hot.
for two more games, like saying that if a team that's one game behind in the playoff race, or even just in the hunt to get into the playoffs, that if they won out, like, dude, there's still us, there's still Detroit. You know what I mean? Like, there's still Seahawks, there's still Detroit before Green Bay. Detroit has a better record than Green Bay, if I'm not mistaken. They were like seven.
Yeah. They came up. They came up a little bit this year.
Yeah, something
They
like
they
that.
they still got a chance. They still got a
Because we
chance.
all we all the thing that happened last week is that, yeah, that we all dropped a loss, and then, you know um so that helped Green Bay out, but like they were still a couple games behind. I think they're one game behind now, but like that's still, what I mean, that still doesn't help them out if we win out or Detroit wins out, you know what I mean, like, for example, you know what I mean, because then we have claims to that spot before them. You know what I mean? So they can win out and not have a spot, in other words, because
I
they're
don't know
already
how you
behind.
figure it out because what two of the teams in the NFC that were in the wild card also have ties.
That's a frustrating part, because that tie is not a loss.
Right.
There's not one in the loss column. Yeah. But then they matched up, I think, a second time to break that tie, right? Giants came up a game on, and that's kind of like, and I think they're kind of starting to not uh spread from that. Not yet. It's still one game, because if Giants lose two more, they could actually drop it to Washington. So there's still I would say about four teams or so vying for that seventh, eight spots, kind of, or that sixth seed is about to close. Giants kind of will probably have a lock on that after this week. I think they're about half a game or so. But like, if Washington or any one of us takes a loss, then that really solidifies their sixth seed. You know what I mean? So like right now, there's about four teams going for that seventh spot.
Right. But what's
Six is kind of out of reach, for most
who's
teams.
the
That's the way.
team, who's the team that you really don't even want to see in the playoffs?
Well,
Just cause it's like nah.
that you don't really want, because I mean, like with the way they're playing now,
No, just in general, just not even one who playing, just team that from history and history, just like
you don't want to see in the playoffs. You don't want to see Tampa Bay in the playoffs. I mean, like they're because they could not make the playoffs.
right.
There's still right. There's still that chance. I think it was like Atlanta and Carolina, I think, was up there. I'm just going off the top of, but like I think it was Carolina that took
But
over.
it's not, yeah, because we want to say
You don't
that.
want to see, I don't, I mean, in my opinion, I mean,
We're trying to hype
that's
Tom
the
Brady.
GOAT, man.
Yeah, I'm trying to get him in the playoff. It is certain players you got to look at like, and they just want them to go because they think it's gonna make for a better story and a better
Well,
this.
that's Green Bay. You can tell that, I think, what do you think? Who do you think is the team that they're
Green.
trying to put a scare out, if this team makes it?
Oh, the ones that people to say every year, and that's Cowboys. Every year they talk about we going to the chip.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, gotcha. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's my opinion. Them and I think right now the teams that are being most talked about is there Kansas City, 49ers, and they keep talking about Tampa Bay. So it's going to be very interesting in the Eagles, obviously, because they're on the top. But a lot of people are saying, do the Eagles even have it? Because they're still a young team, and then it can be any game they can get knocked out.
Yeah. Well,
So
I guess in a couple weeks or so, you know what I mean, we can, find out more about,
I kind of have a feeling
how our predictions work.
I'm at the ride with my team and say hey, it's gonna be San Francisco or the Eagles or San Francisco and Dallas for the
Or the
championship.
NFC.
Yeah, the NFC
Yeah,
championship.
gotcha. Yeah. Well, I do like your team because the defense, I think defense wins games, right?
Right.
I kind of like that mantra. That's how Seahawks did it one year. They were top of defense. You guys are number one. Uh, you know, uh, you're the number one defense, like as far as
Oh yeah, they never won
scoring
everything.
against and stuff like that.
They tied for one number one slot the last time I looked, but they're number one all across the board.
It's
Number one.
most all the defensive stats. So I
Right.
like that. And then like when you can just like plug and play, you know, hip as your quarterback anytime, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I can
I
remember.
mean, like these guys all have, what I mean? Like they have a good system. So it seems like, like you see some quarterback in there, kind of unheard of that, you know what I mean? Like does real well. I mean, that's credit to the system, coaching, you know,
Right.
in my opinion. I'm not even that huge, I'm more of a fan. I don't really like study the back end so much, like you know what I mean? Like all that management stuff, like, you know, but like like when you look like Purdy, I was like betting against him,
Right.
yards and stuff. You know what I mean? The guy was like putting it on. So that tells me something.
Yeah. I mean, he's poised. He has
Well,
patience.
Kittle, I mean, all these weapons are already there, right? So like you have to be a shitty quarterback to not like you have to be a real shitty. I mean, just to let the whole system fail. You know what I mean? Like you got the defense getting you the ball, like
You gotta be. You gotta be. You gotta be Jamie Foxx on
it,
any given
it's
Sunday.
every team's dream, you know what I mean? To have just your offense always get a crack at it with weapons, you know what I mean, at your disposal like that. You know what I mean? Like,
As long as they can stay healthy. Um,
oh yeah.
and yeah, there's some
You got
things
a
I
lot of
see
good
too, like
players,
they need to
man.
stop
Yeah.
doing. Like Debo don't need to be running it all the time, stuff like that. See his health is starting to be questionable.
Yeah.
Uh, he was battling hamstring issues all season. Then we had this little, I think, high ankle issue or whatever in the game that he got hurt. Not here recently, but I think they're trying to get him hurt.
McCaffrey,
Yeah. Oh, he's prone to, but he's been doing pretty good this year. But I think it's more he needs to manage how many times they touch the rock. Just keep them out of predicaments and stuff like that. Cause me personally, I always look at when they're running up the middle, it's scary. Because anything can happen. Them big boys,
oh man.
linemen falling on you and stuff like that. I mean, anything can happen, but
Yeah.
you hope that doesn't. But anything can happen even in an open field tackle. So look
Yeah.
at
Have
Arizona.
you guys could have the Super Bowl. You get past you said Dallas, Philly, you
Yeah,
know.
I think those are the biggest threats. I think there are in the
Yeah, because
NFC right now.
Philly, yeah. Philly is just another team, just like, yeah, plug and play quarterback almost. And then they got like their one tight end, what's his name? Dallas Goddard. I like. that had him. But yeah, like, yeah, that's gonna be fun to watch. You know,
Right.
it's gonna be fun to watch. That's for sure.
Really gonna be fun. All right.
I'm
Hey.
gonna, I'm not gonna put any money on your Niners though.
Wow.
Even no, well, you know what? The one that I showed you before, right? I showed you that one before, right? And that one did have the Niners. I did have that picked on there. I mean, like the game. I think I had a minus
I,
6.5 or something like that. And I took it.
I haven't had any luck. I ain't gonna lie. I think I might have won two bets this whole year, and they've been little bets. Nothing even to make me smile or dance or nothing. It's just been a couple bucks. I just
But a
been.
win's a win, you know what I mean? It's good for a boost, you know, like you get
It is, but it ain't helping me out at none, man. I look. I'm trash. My fantasy's trash. I like I only won 3 games so far this year in fantasy. I only won about 2 tickets betting.
yeah.
I'm just like I'm not gonna stop betting. I got a bet in for this college games this week, so we see
Okay.
how that go.
All right, cool, cool. Yeah, I stopped paying attention to college, but they're done, right? Bowl games and stuff, pretty much.
We got the national
Oh, no, they
championship.
got they got them. Yeah, okay, yeah, yeah, I'll do that one.
Yeah, I did a little bet on there. I'm like, but we'll see.
Yeah.
On that. But yeah, I got a bet going on there. Georgia, Ohio State, Michigan, and TCU. So a lot of people are saying there's going to be. I got some family members saying there's going to be Ohio State, Michigan. I was like, yeah, they're not going to do that again. More
Is
like
that, is that what it's shaping up to look like for?
that's what some family members are saying.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's going to happen. I think it's going to be Georgia and Michigan. They gonna run all over Ohio State and Michigan. If they don't play good, TCU gonna smash them. But if they play good, they'll probably beat TCU.
All right. Yeah, I haven't looked at it, but yeah, I
Yeah,
will.
we'll see. It's gonna be crazy with everything going on.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit more about any with this financial stuff as we see the housing market is going down as far as pricing, but the interest
Mhm.
rates is going through the roof. What's your feel about that? Or what you tell people to do?
Oh my gosh, what to do? It depends on your situation. Like I can speak to like, you know, buyers, you know, and because the other side's sellers. If you're a seller, let's start with sellers because here's what I'm seeing with the housing prices. Obviously, you can go on Redfin and check out, where you live, the house that you own, and kind of see the Redfin estimates. They should be catching up now because a lot of people were going with that, like, and then kind of relying on that information. But it should be kind of caught up now to where I feel it's a little bit more accurate now than from like say 6 months ago. But so home owners still have a lot of equity, in their homes, even though not as much as if they had sold in 2021.
Right.
Now that's when, I would say 2020, 2021, that's when you had, that huge rise, 10 to 30% in depending on the market. And then you're seeing a lot of that now coming back down. So it's kind of a correction. But if you had bought your home, before those years, you probably have some equity.
Right.
Selling, selling because you have to. I understand, what people would have to sell, like if they absolutely, like say if they're down, they were planning to downsize anyways, or if they have to move cross country for another job or whatever. Sometimes you're kind of forced to sell depending on your situation. But most people still have equity, just not as much as last year. So sellers just have to get more realistic with what their home's worth. Because if they put it on the market at too high of a price, it's just not going to sell. It's just taking longer to sell now.
Right.
Um,
See here, they said the market time, like, is about, I think, said like 5 months of inventory.
oh, inventory wise, yeah, you're getting a lot more homes available, which makes it good for, it depends because it's a balancing act. It's good for buyers right now. If if you're looking to buy, it's just the interest rates are higher. So you got to have that balance where the price of the home is just low enough because we all pay, on the monthly. So as long as we can afford it on the monthly, um, then it's worth it, right? Um, in the long run, if you can buy, you're going to be better off in the long run because just real estate does go up and down in the short term, but in the long term, it just generally has a 7 to 10% like increase um, on its value. So that's where a lot of people find, their where their wealth is. So it's like it's in their home. You know what I mean? They can't tap it. So what I suggest if somebody has to kind of move is, you know, kind of switch into more of an investor mindset. See how you got to get more creative in this market to find those opportunities because the interest rates are higher. You're not going to be able to afford as much home. Um, a lot of people are kind of pooling their resources together to buy one house. I think that's pretty cool. Because it's hard to find affordable homes like in Seattle here. I don't know what the average price is in Vegas now, but here it's around 600,000, for, and that when I put it in a calculator at 7% interest rate, I'm here, I'll do it right now. But gosh, even actually, can I use yours for example, Marcus? This one's going to actually, be better for the world.
Go ahead.
Okay, so like,
No, interest rates right now are running like 6% here in Vegas.
is it okay? So if I were to put in, let's see, what do I have? I have, okay, so I like looking at rents first to kind of make sure that you have that information. Like rents right now, like for yours, about 2,000 a month. Would you agree or disagree? Like you could get for your home
Yeah, I agree. About 2 grand.
about 2 grand. And I put this, I have, and I use like, I use these I have tools, that I can put the address in and it kind of, you can use like rental meter. I think that's a free one, .com, rentometer.com. You can just plug it in, so for anybody that just wants to find out how much, because that's a good start. You want to kind of have a baseline of understanding how the market, what the market will give you for the home that you live in. So if it's about 2,000, here's the other piece of information. It's a payment calculator. So if I put in approximately what the home is worth, I'm gonna use Redfin's number here, Marcus. I'm put 358,000. Okay.
All right.
And this is with 20% down payment, about 72,000 down, and then the loan amount is going to be about 286,000. And if I go 30-year fixed at, you said 6.5%.
Nah, they run. I think run around about 6% flat.
Yeah, I'll just keep it at 6.5% because it's just kind of get us into the ballpark because I adjust for property taxes and stuff like that. I just want to kind of get a monthly payment amount here, and it's giving me $2,150, right? So if someone were to buy the house for what Redfin is saying it's worth,
Mhm.
20% down, that their payments would be 2,150 a month,
Mm.
right? So like,
And I notice a lot right now
so
too.
like if you, yeah, so most people won't sell like just to go and buy, what I mean? Like they probably have a lower interest rate already. So, I always say, because the numbers, they're not going to really make sense but like you can see how it could make sense, like if you were to go buy another house, you know what I mean, like for 350,000, 360, if there's one of, you got to know your market. I'm not really sure if house prices are dropping. I know builders are scrambling. I worked with builders before where they were like, back in 2021, they were like, yeah, they were like, what's that saying go? They were like, the cat's meow. You know what I mean? They're like, okay, well, everybody wants, everybody wants what we have. So they could jack up prices on consumers because
Right.
we're forced to buy. But now it's shifted. So like they're stuck, right? And they're going to be scrambling to give away these, not give away, but like they have to give discounts
Yeah.
in order to sell, incentives. They're gonna pay your percentage rates down. I've seen those rate buy downs. It's tens of thousands of dollars on them, but it's worth it to sell the house. You know what I mean? Like Zillow, Redfin, all those big major corporations, they had iBuyers, they were buying homes, and that's kind of what helped to drive up prices, especially in Vegas. I know Open Door, not crooks, but sorry for the world. Sometimes I get a little passion behind
Fine,
my,
just is what we about, man. We're free talk over here and talk what needs to be talked about so the people know the real.
yeah, my gosh. You can actually plug in, I can plug you or plug in some addresses in your neighborhood. You might that's sold. You can go to Redfin, check to see what's recently sold, or maybe go back 6 months to a year or so. When buying internet buyers, like I would say Open Door is one of the ones, and Zillow, because Zillow was the first to actually cut jobs, kind of crash 20%, like kind of crash, and their stock just tanked. But they were buying homes and like overpaying for homes and then reselling them at a loss. So what does that do for like the average would-be home buyer? They're getting priced out by these, internet giants. These guys have access to data also. They have access to values, right?
Right.
It's like, how do you, and then they overpay. I think a lot of this, I don't know where all that money, I think it's probably PP. I don't know. I mean,
You're getting
all
that
this
PPP
injection,
on.
it's billions of dollars, bro. You know what I mean? That they were able to then, it's just like me giving you, say, hey, Marcus, here's $1 billion blank check. Go and buy up as much real estate as you want across the nation. Just that you feel like might be good deals. And so some markets like Vegas, I think Phoenix was another market that was hit. So these ones are crashing big time now because they were blown up, like you blow up, like keep inflating these prices up. And I saw it happen with my own condo. So not only do I follow the on
But
their,
what do you feel about which I've been seeing a lot on social media, uh HELOC, when they tell people to, instead of taking out and refinancing, doing HELOCs.
it depends on what you're using the HELOC for. So I had a friend, he's in Florida. Him and his wife moved there from Hawaii. And
But what is a HELOC?
a HELOC is a home equity line of credit. So when you have a home, and maybe I'll start by saying, we need to define equity.
Mhm.
Do you think? Like for equity,
Yeah.
equity is like cash. So it's
Yeah.
like if you think of a home as like a piggy bank, let's do a shape of a home. Let's put a slot in there, like a piggy bank. Okay, every time you make your mortgage payment, it's like slipping money into the piggy bank. So when you pay $2,000 towards your mortgage, a portion of that actually drops into the equity.
Right.
Equity is kind of like a savings account. It builds up over time. So as you're making your mortgage payments, that's one way that equity gets built up. Another way that equity gets built up is the market appreciation. So by those two forces, like market appreciation is like last year home prices were higher than this year. This year it's lower. Well, say you get a combination of, say, the market appreciates, right, and you've paid down over the years, right? You've added money into the piggy bank, we'll say 5 years down the line, and then the market appreciates, that equity grows. And where it's good to do a HELOC, I feel like there's no reason to get a HELOC to go buy liabilities. You want to go to use money because it's money. When you tap money, you want that money to go into making more money. You want to invest that money. So have it go into an asset, something that, invest in yourself. You know what I mean? Invest into your education. So HELOCs, and especially at the higher rate, you really have to be, because it's debt. It's basically you're pulling out debt against your property and you're leveraging it. So you want to use debt as a tool to grow your investment. Yeah, you don't want to go and take a HELOC out of your home, $50,000, and then go buy, a fancy car.
Right.
So you're going to use that car as purely for rental, and it's a business. You know what I mean? Like, you don't want to, because then you're paying it. You have to pay it back.
Right.
HELOC is a loan. It's a second loan, and it'll be another lien against your property. So you already have, you know what liens are, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So like, you don't want to have any liens on your property. That would make it free and clear. The liens that cannot really go away are like your property taxes. You have to pay your property taxes, and then
Right.
insurance.
So the reason why I bring that up is because I be seeing a lot of that on social media. So
Okay.
it's out there to people that say, hey, you got to watch how some of these social media things, not even just with your home, but just this how they work and to get you to go check them out, to get you into something that you don't know nothing about. Watch the words that they use, because I see a lot of it, and some of them don't really tell you, hey, you're taking a lien or a loan out. It's the word manipulation. So
Yeah. And yeah. I mean, because there are a lot of homeowners with a lot of equity that may need access to cash, for whatever reasons. You know, I think it's okay, you know what I mean? But you don't want to lose your house over something that you can't, you know, repay back, because you're basically just risking, you're risking your house, you know what I mean? So like, I say use leverage, if you can do it smart, like if you can do it real smart, then yeah, I say go for it.
yeah,
I
if
mean,
you're gonna use it,
yeah.
make some money with it. It makes sense, because then you can make the money and pay it back. And if you're actually making the money, you can pay it back and not lose anything.
Oh
I know.
yeah. Just imagine this. Okay. For example, and there's a guy that I used to listen to, you know, I don't know if if you're into real estate, Morris Invest, and I say that like, because I listen to a lot of podcasts, but he talks about just having like rentals for cash flow. So like you can just, on your example, right? Say you took 50,000, and then there's homes like in Ohio, or in, I know a small town just outside of Chicago. I mean, homes for like 50 grand, and if you can get 800 a month for rent, you might beat it. Actually, you might beat that percent. I do quick math, say 800 a month, that's about 9,600 for the year. That's about almost 10 grand for the year. So that's a good, okay, you're about 25%, you know what I mean, on your annual rate of return on a $50,000 purchase. Plus you own the home, and then you got, say you even pay property management out of it. You have some spread there, you know what I mean, where you can pay it back and still cash flow. That'd be a smart HELOC. You know what I mean? Like, to take out a HELOC to buy investment property that's earning rent that covers your, because it becomes an expense, you know what I mean? Like, to have a mortgage, it becomes an expense. As long as you can cover it, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
your HELOC's going to have a payment as long as you can cover it and have extra.
there's
Woo,
different
you're on
ways
your way.
about doing it too, to make sure you get your money. A lot of people don't know too. Like, if you do get a home like that, it's like you said, some of these smaller towns. getting that home, and also to not say turning that home over to, but opening it up to Section 8 because you're
There you
guaranteed to
go.
get your money.
Yeah, yeah.
Home,
Work with the
somebody
government.
in.
The government's, and that's one thing with real estate is that the government incentivizes real estate investors, you know what I mean, through tax benefits.
Right. I
One of
actually,
them is the Section 8. I mean, housing. I don't know enough about it, but I know that it is from what I hear with my real estate podcast, that people that do, it's consistent.
yeah, actually, I think I missed a meeting because I was at work. I'm gonna look more into it with these tax lien sales. I know
I
that
know
stuff.
about those.
Yeah, I'm gonna see about going to, visit a few of those and see how that really works. I think we just had one here in Vegas, so that's another thing too. People don't know that's public records, so you can go up and try to find out if there's tax liens on homes and stuff like that, because that's the way you can buy a home for,
Yeah, I'll give you
cheap.
one. So to that, the let's see, I don't know if I have a bookmark, but there is one. It's called bidforassets.com.
Mhm.
You might have seen that one. Has a little hound dog kind of, but it's called bidforassets.com, and it's in the US, so you can find different county tax auctions and actually bid on it. I haven't successfully won a bid, but I have registered because you have to spend, in some cases, I spent $1,000 plus a fee to
Mhm.
just register, and they give you back a like $35 fee, right? Plus for the counties, they have a certain deposit requirement so that you can bid, and then you're bidding against other investors. So if you have cash to spend, like I look for land, I look for, because I have access to the MLS here. So I look for land, I look for like mobile homes that have land. So something that's cheap, you know what I mean, to get with cash, and people do buy this way because as a real estate agent, I can see, well, it is public record. It's just I just have eyes for it because our systems, are set up in such a way, and over time I've just repeatedly look up this information. That's pertinent
Right.
because anybody can go up to see like when the last, like like how much they bought, like who paid how much, and then because you can even see like liens that attach, even mortgage history sometimes in the tax records. Like if you go and so I would challenge this, like go into your county's assessor's website where it's public, right? Look up owner information, punch in your address, right? Or your name, like find yourself in the county taxes, right? And see what is displayed. Like see if any of your mortgage information is displayed.
Right. Yeah, and you can do it. I've done it. I've been in there,
Yeah,
to,
right.
done some other stuff, but yeah, you can definitely go in there and see stuff, and it is free. So you people understand that people out there are looking for things. There's a lot of things out there that are you got to pay for, and there's some things that are free. You can get access to basically get some knowledge.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's crazy.
Advantage of all the free stuff.
Yeah, and speaking on knowledge, that's a good thing I like to roll into is, we also talked about it before back in the past before you left, our health. Health is one of my key things too that I'm trying to learn too. So got that health thing too is a lot of having knowledge and being smart, smart business. Um, and it kind of goes together. A lot of people have been saying it too. If you don't have health, you don't have wealth. Because if you don't have your health, you can't be wealthy.
True.
You don't spend all your money trying to get healthy, or you're not going to be able to have fun if you do get wealthy and your health ain't nothing. You just wasted time. So I look into that a lot too. The reason why I bring that up, I just sent a video to Queen Clay about what was I sent her? It was a video on Pam the spray that people use to spray on their pans and stuff to make sure your food doesn't stick. There's articles came out that they actually use gasoline chemicals and poisons in that spray.
Yeah.
So
I
that's
mean, like I didn't know that, but you know what I mean? Like I say, yeah, like it's possible. It sounds like, yeah, like Yeah, because like Teflon, I think on pans, like the coating
Right.
has some toxic
But
chemicals.
yeah, and this is where y'all go back in. I always send her health stuff, and I be trying to talk to people around me about just making wiser choices as far as foods. Um, I think, and I keep preaching it over the pandemic, these 2 years or whatever everybody wants to say it in, you have to learn. If you didn't wake up in those 2 years, you might want to start waking up to realizing the food industry. A lot of foods that we eat give us poisons. It's giving us our cancers. In the years 2000s, there's more cases of cancers and this and that, and finding out this and that than we ever had in the 70s and the 80s. Our food is tainted. We're running out of food. You hit me to that too about a couple videos to watch, on YouTube, not YouTube, YouTube or Netflix about food, and it's really just getting back to our cores. We're got to start growing our foods, and one is really stop eating out a lot too, especially at chain restaurants. You probably want to look at your mom and pop restaurants that are not super chain, because they have to do the cooking. You know what I'm saying? Besides like McDonald's and Wendy's and stuff like that, all that food is being processed and made and brung in, and then they're trying to tell you that it's fresh. Like, ain't no way it's fresh. It can't be that fresh, you know. And an amount of beef and chicken that all these restaurants consume, you gotta think like, where is it coming from?
Mm.
As you know, if you watch my videos, I talk about Rizza, Islam. He had posted, how many people on this planet, how many chickens and this and that, or how many cows, how many burgers are being produced by one company, which you mentioned McDonald's, how many burgers are being produced by one McDonald's, then every McDonald's in your city, then every McDonald's in the nation. He was like, we don't have enough cows for that. So think about where your meat's coming from.
Oh yeah.
So it's stuff like that. I seen that with the Pam spray. That was one recent article. There was another food thing that came up too that I just saw about too. Man, what was it? It was something about food. Oh, and the one was about fish. Uh,
Okay,
fish.
like mercury or
Um,
something else.
you gotta watch where you buying
Oh,
it.
plastic, microplastics.
Yeah, guy he bought some whitey fish. He was cleaning it up and he squeezed it. He squeezed the fish to get the water out of it, and then it just plumped back up. And like, this ain't real fish.
Yeah.
When you squeeze something and it just plumps right back to its natural state, he's like, yeah, something ain't right about this. Ain't
Hey,
real
remember
fish.
those Reebok pumps?
Right.
I'm
So yeah, I used to see videos back in the past where either it was Tyson or one of those companies. You could see the people going down and just pumping some type of fluid or something into chicken to make them bigger, to weigh more. So the more it weighs, the more money they can get from them and stuff like that. So you
Mm.
definitely really got to watch, what you eat and stuff out here. Stay away as much as possible from these fast food places. Uh, Dang, it was a video I just saw too. A guy, he had a McDonald's cheeseburger that he had wrapped up for over 20 or 30 years. He had it in a jar, like a metal jar, McDonald's thing, like a Big Mac jar, and it was just a cheeseburger.
Yeah.
And he took the cheeseburger out and they unwrapped it. There was no mold, no nothing on his cheeseburger. It just looked like a dry cheeseburger that you probably put in your refrigerator for a week and forget about. And this is over 20, 30 years. They said it didn't have no funny smell or nothing. The only thing the lady said, it kind of smelled a little like cardboard, and that was it.
Yeah. That's
So people got I preach to people. I haven't ate McDonald's. I couldn't tell you last time I ate McDonald's.
good, man.
But
I have to confess, man, like it's been, like it hasn't been like it used to be, my diet. Um, I can't I can't say that I cared about my diet for a long time, you know what I mean? Which is sad, but I would say in the last 10 years, so it's kind of late, you know what I mean? And overall in the span of my life. It's a little late, but not, you know what I mean? It's better late than never, you know what I mean? Because I see a lot of illnesses, coming from, I mean, just people, what is it? 2 out of 3 people are obese here. You know what I mean? Like, and so,
We're the
but
fattest
like
country.
a lot of the diseases do come from food. So I do agree with you that we gotta watch, but we gotta watch more what we eat and maybe support more the local businesses that actually take time to cook
Cook
the
the food.
food, or do it yourself. You know what I mean? Like, and I understand people is going to argue the fact, like, hey, I don't have time for all that. You know what I mean? Like, I'm too busy with this, that, and the other. And, and I get
Yeah,
it.
and that's what I think. That's what America.
Perpetual cycle that, what I mean, if you don't break out of it, then, you know what I mean?
You don't, and you have to, and that's why I say that's what America wants you to do, to be in that cycle of just, I don't have time. I don't have time. I gotta go out to eat. I'm going out to eat. I'm grabbing this, and that all boils down to even our work habits, because America doesn't care about us as humans. They're just the people at the top. Hey, just make my money, make my money. They don't care about you have to take care of a family. You don't care about your health. I tell people at different jobs that I've been at, I said you ain't nothing but a number and you're easily to be replaced. So that's where we come from. That, like you said, we're stuck in that cycle. A lot of people stuck in the cycle. I don't have time.
Mhm.
And it all really boils down to, because most industries and jobs, they don't care about your home life. You know it as well as I know the company we work for. They told us, hey, we are your family. You spend more time with us than you do your own family.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
and that really woke me up to understand, like, oh yeah, y'all really don't give a fuck about people.
Mhm. Oh
Y'all
yeah.
about your bottom line and your dollar. So
Oh yeah. Corporations, yeah, I hear you 100%. And I just from my own personal experience, I'll share this with you. Like, I've been fired from a corporation. It's not my first firing. I'm very entrepreneur by nature, but I'm a hard worker too, and I'm very loyal to the company until when the company can turn on you, right? Turn on a dime, like from like, hey, your family, you know what I mean? Like, all of these, benefits and whatnot. And then when times, and this is the worst, when times get rough, right? Companies, they have to cut personnel, you know what I mean? And I guess one of the most hurtful things was that for my loyalty, the way that I was fired, this how they did me. Say me and you are working, we're colleagues, right? We're in the same position, right? What they did was, imagine this, right? Before they let you go, before they let you go, they promote me, who's your colleague. Like, we're friends, we sold together, we're on the phone selling together, but they promote me to let you go. That's how they did. That's how they they
they was
hired.
a movie type
Yeah,
stuff.
dude. I was like, dude, we played. I mean, not, okay, we played ball together, but like, I'm just hesitant to use the name because it's not that person. It's how the company used that person instead of my true manager. The true manager actually has a very authoritative position to just let me go, but he had to get somebody to actually do that for him, and the company supported that. You know what I mean? And I was like, my
Just
God,
like they
we were
want to see
just
how far
playing
you go to
ball.
sell out.
Oh yeah, so that's when I was like, never again am I going to be put in the position where I'm just excuse me, dependent on an employer, right? To, to write my paychecks, I mean, to issue my paychecks. I said, never again. That was 2009.
Mm.
So, and it was for a regional telecom company
Oh
in
yeah.
Vegas. And so, I'm kind of in that world, right? And so 2000, it took me a couple years to recover because after the job loss, and I'm giving you a little bit more of my personal story here, and then comes boom, the divorce, so, and then after that, and this is all like, 2005, 2006, 2007, 2008, you know, like it started, what I mean? So this is my crash, but also the economic collapse, happened all, at the same time. And so where I had a condo bought and lost, what I mean, during this time. So like just everything just all at once, right? And I was like, never again. And so that's why when we met, I had the attitude that I had because I said, when I go back, I'm like, I found out like, hey, Nevada is an at will, well, what did they say? At will employment state. At will. So we'll hire you at will, we'll fire you at will. At will employment. That means at will, I'll work for you. At will, I will not work for you. So that let me be more in control because it's an at will, meaning, oh, they didn't give a fuck to begin. Sorry, they didn't give a crap to begin with. So why should I? You know what I mean? Like, so I went in and I was able to see more opportunities going in that way instead of having my head buried, what I mean, in the position. That's the dependency posture. I lost dependency, and I just had my head held up a little higher going into the job, knowing that I'm exchanging time for money. I have value here, so I'm going to show my value. You help me out with that. Remember when we go through hard times, I'm like, hey, what should I do? You're like, just work harder than the next guy. And
Right.
and that's what I did. I was like, you know what? That's right. I'm not gonna give up. You know what I mean? Like trying to do my best. You know what I mean for a company, especially knowing that I have my ticket. Like the way I punched my ticket was I got licensed in real estate in 2014 finally, and
Right.
that's we met in 2016, right? So that was kind of like my journey into it because I lost real estate, having gotten into it kind of like as a newbie. Of course, I was just a buyer, you know what I mean, like a normal buyer. But like now I try to look at it like, how do I protect people going in? Because I didn't have all of this, I didn't learn all this knowledge later. Like the knowledge was just beaten into my skull. It's
Right.
like school of hard knocks, So what
Yeah,
I,
sometimes you gotta get knocked down to get back up.
oh
But
yeah, oh yeah. Anyways, that was yeah, that was quite a learning experience. So I apply all of that learning now to, to make sure that, people, well, first of all, like you said, health, what I mean? That it took away a lot from my health, bro.
yeah,
Like during that time, that for real. So like health is number one. I quit smoking coming out of it, you know what I mean? Cigarettes, because I had a
and
son to care for, you know what I mean? So
you gotta be careful. Like I said, I know some of the backstory too,
yeah,
and for especially men, they always trying to tell us to be strong, stand up, and then when your health gets knocked down, you know sometimes you got people there to help pick you up or move forward. I think a lot of men don't get the credit for the things that we do, especially when it does come to your health, and a lot of men don't want to take care of their health correctly or get certain things looked at because they're like, oh no, I'm not doing that. And then when you get sick or something like that, uh, then you're looking stupid because hey, you should have had this done, you know.
that's
And
true. That's true.
and going through times like that, or like you said, job, relationship issues. Um, I have seen the attitude, especially from women, that say, you know, he's like, well, you need to be stronger than that. You can't have problems. You shouldn't, you shouldn't feel that way because, you're a man. Like that doesn't make sense. We all have feelings and we all go through things. And when I explain to people like that, that health, like going through those times can crash your system.
Oh
As far as, you're emotionally everywhere. You're not eating correctly. You're more focused on the next day or how to make money or get back to a feeling that you was feeling good, but it can crash your whole system. And when that happens,
yeah. Mhm.
other things can happen to your body to where you can't recuperate. Like for me, at a time in my life before, way before 2009, the state of, like you said, rebuilding, everything was crashing around me. And I'm trying to push through things, trying to go through school and put money in my pocket. And my system crashed to the point where now I have issues, with like a lot of people in the world, irritable bowel systems and stuff like that from eating bad.
Mhm. Yep.
So it all affects you, like your job, your home life, your relationships. It affects your health. And like you said, you stop smoking, you had to build yourself up, you learn financially. Those are all called growing pains, that we go
Oh,
through.
yeah.
So I definitely feel you. I understand it.
Funny, yeah, that's funny. Yeah, you hit on a lot of good parts, because yeah, I mean, it's not, yeah, that was one of the things that I, felt the most was like, once I lost like the stability, you know what I mean? Like I'm less of a man. You know what I mean? Like
And people don't understand that, especially the ones that really
I don't
want to.
I don't believe that. I mean, I didn't, but somehow like that pressure starts to creep in. And I knew these things about like overworking yourself and just getting like burnout and stuff like that, but like, it's like not even right. Like if I were to take a break or time off, like I learned this way later, like when
Feel guilty.
yeah, you feel guilty like for wanting to rest, and then, that's why I went part-time, because I asked my previous employer, because before I left, they were like, what can we do to keep you? I was like, I need to go part-time because I want to have more time with my son and stuff. Actually, I was just wanting more peace of mind. You know what I mean? But that included like spending time with my son instead of dropping him off at some weird daycares and stuff.
Right. And
It
then and
has their challenges, you know what I mean, with the health stuff. So
that goes into, like we said, corporations don't care. They want you to just work, 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 work.
yeah, I
And
mean, I can't disagree. I can't disagree with that. I don't know what resources, through my employer, like childcare, I don't know. I mean, maybe it's something that I could have been more mindful of trying to find, resources to help. But I think a lot of it stemmed from maybe some of the issues that I already had. You know what I mean? Like I didn't take care of myself, well, and a lot of it, like it does spill into other areas like relationships, finances, you know, and what I've learned is like you got to care for yourself first. It just goes back to what you said in the beginning. If you can't take care of yourself, how can how can you expect to care for anyone else anymore? And
right.
especially big for parents and single parents, moms and dads. I'm a dad, so I think that single parenting is tough. You know what I mean? Like so
Yeah, it's definitely
they have
tough.
to care for someone so they don't die. You know what I mean? Like when have you ever had that responsibility? You know what I mean? Like, you
Right.
know, you know
Yeah,
what I mean? Like that's how I look at it. I'm like, well, I gotta
it comes with it. And then and then trying to teach other people around you, especially significant others, about health. For example, people that are not who have the knowledge of food, eating certain foods and stuff like that. Some people are just like, hey, I'm just gonna eat this, I'm gonna eat that, whatever, I don't care. I mean, I have people say that before, like, oh, I'm not about to give up eating this and that just because, you know, I want to lose some weight, but I'm not gonna give up eating this, or I'm not gonna give up doing this and that. And that's the wrong mentality. And I think that's what United States, because like I said, we're the most obese country. They have the attitude, and people don't understand sacrificing certain foods. Don't eat this, eat that, eat healthier.
Mhm.
Uh, will ultimately help you out physically, mentally, and stuff like that. What you eat can also affect the way you think, how
Right.
you feel, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I explain to a lot of people like to eat and engorging food. Well, you engorging food, especially a lot of carbs, you're going to get sleepy. You're going to slow your metabolism down. So hence, you're going to gain weight. You're not going to want to get up and do things. you're gonna put things off and always say, "Oh, I'll do it later. Oh, I'm too tired. I'm tired."
Mhm.
You
Yeah,
know, and you know, they're not gonna like this, but I'm gonna have to say it. You know, especially these women's out here. Uh, notice a lot of them always sleepy. I gotta take a nap. I'm tired.
yeah,
You know, and I see it a lot. Like, if you pay attention to them, like, you have to understand what are they doing. Uh, Eating, they're not moving, they're not getting enough exercise, and I see it a lot. And it's sorry to say, and I be saying like, why y'all always so sleepy? It's like you got to change your metabolism. The metabolism is slowing you down, so when you do eat, all you want to do is go to sleep.
yeah.
And there's other things too to go along with that. And you know, trying to live healthy and teach other people. You get especially women's around you. I try to teach them. And
What's the biggest thing you think that people need, like, in order to, have more, awareness around their health? Do you think it's food, exercise, a little bit of both, or just
yeah, it's a little bit of both. It all starts with knowledge. If you don't have the knowledge of what you're eating and what it
start there, right? Like take inventory, like take inventory of what you actually eat throughout the day, you think would help?
or yeah, inventory what you eat or what
Then
are
you
you
can
eating.
measure, then you can measure it, right? You can be like, okay, well, I'm eating this much, and then maybe I don't need to eat this much tomorrow. You-
Um, my
If you
biggest
know
thing,
what you're
yeah,
putting into your
my
system.
biggest my biggest thing with that is too, and people gonna argue with it, is the old philosophy that we had was you got to have 3 meals a day.
Right.
I
Yeah.
don't think we all need to have 3 meals a day, or if you do, you don't need to pig out with three different meals. You don't have to have three big meals. Eat smaller proportions of your food. A lot of people think they got to eat until their stomach hurts or until I'm full. Most times I don't no more. Like I eat what I eat, but I don't eat to where, oh yeah, I'm full. You know, I just
Yeah.
eat enough, going about my day.
So like a intermittent fasting type diet.
Yeah.
I like
Um,
that too.
I done.
That's what I do now.
Yeah, and you know, people snack throughout the day. I find myself snacking a little bit more at work because we don't have like fresh fruits and vegetables at work and stuff like that. And if you're going to snack on stuff like that, like you know, fruits and vegetables and stuff like that throughout your day. If you get hunger pains and stuff like that, if you're trying to do intermittent fasting and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I think it's also a belief that you're not gonna die, you know, if you don't
And a
have
lot of people feel
if you
that
don't
way.
have this, if you don't have this, meal.
Yeah,
You know what
people
I mean?
feel like
Like,
that way.
and that's where I think for me, that's where I kind of transform. Like, I don't know if I'm that much healthier. I still have a lot of work to do, but like on the diet part, yeah, I don't eat like I used to eat. I used to eat like so much, you know what I mean? But like, I think, but I think I felt unhealthy, even though I didn't like I looked healthy, but I think I felt unhealthy, because I used to take naps, when I worked at the store and stuff. Like I used to take naps in the middle. This was like back before I got with that job, but the one before, like my hour lunches, I eat for like 15 minutes and then I nap for like 30 minutes and I go back in to finish my shift. And
Yeah,
that was like every day. I remember the times too for years. And that wasn't like the first and only time. It went on for, yeah, a long time. So it
yeah.
adds up, in the end. I'm just trying to go against everything that I was doing, mostly like
Well, yeah, and yeah, you gotta watch that too. Like people, this is another help tip for people. And again, it's so sorry, it's so shame to the women's, but napping is kind of can be dangerous. As far as women too, it's mostly women's. Napping for more than an hour, 2 hours is actually can shorten your life expectancy, and it's mainly women's.
yeah,
Uh, that sleeping that long during the day. You have to get your sleep at night. You throw your internal clock off if you up all night. A lot of people don't understand that too. Like it's okay to stay up every once in a while, but if you're constantly staying up at night, you're throwing your internal clock off and you're not getting a good enough sleep. That's why people a lot of times you nap during the day, you're sleepy, stuff like that.
yeah, it's that circadian rhythm that you know, we
Need
all
something more
like
moving, more
are
active.
in a clock.
Yeah, it can mess them up. I seen the studies. Uh, I seen a study on it. So it's actually like taking long naps can be more detrimental to your health than anything. They basically take power naps, 15, 30 minutes at the
Mhm.
most.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I know my sleep habits are much better than before. I used to have insomnia and stuff, but it's all like just bad dieting, you know what I mean? Like, you have Red Bulls for breakfast. That's not cool. You know what I mean? Like just to get through your day. Like stuff like that, was I ran on just junk, for too long, and so
Some of that stuff
yeah,
is
it's good to start somewhere, and if you start anywhere, like start with like what you're putting into your start eliminating some stuff, like it just choose one thing to eliminate, and I think that's gonna go a long ways, and then you start stacking like every little win, like okay, cool, I didn't have this, that I would normally have today. Could be anything, could be a donut, because you go to work and they have donuts or whatever, like could be a bag or whatever it is to you. I don't know what it is to you,
I
but
would I would tell people to start out with a small change is water intake. The more water you take
oh,
in,
there you go. Yeah. Oh
good
yeah.
and good
I
water.
like that a lot. I like that a lot. You
Yeah,
can
water,
stop a
good
lot
water.
of things with water, actually. And I quit smoking partly due to distracting my brain because it was like a kind of one of these maneuvers, that was repetition. Is so you so I would just distract myself by thinking like, oh, let me get some fresh water and then drink, and that stops the whole habit train or that because it's just repetition. So stop doing it. Just
Right.
do everything that you had repeatedly done that wasn't working, you know.
Every water is not equal.
I like that water suggestion. I need to do more of that. And right now I've been drinking lots of hot water because I'm dealing with a health concern right now. You can tell,
Yeah. I mean,
I
there's something beyond that too. Hey, I should have told you what to drink with that hot water. You can put some lemon and pineapple in it.
okay. Pineapple. I haven't heard that. I like lemon and salt.
Yeah,
That's
that's what I
cool.
was
Oh
drinking.
yeah. Those are good. Those are good tips for, like and have time for yourself. You know what I mean? Meditate and all that stuff works wonders, get into like a routine in the morning, like a ritual, where you are having time with your thoughts, so you kind of have your visualization or whatever works for you. What works for me is like just some mindful meditation, kind of set the course for the day,
I'm
you
gonna
know.
tell you this too, and most of the people that look at our channel is mostly everybody over 40. Yeah, you need to meditate and stretch. You
Oh
need
yeah.
we getting older, you need to stretch a little bit more. I need to do a little bit better job, make sure I get, 5, 10 minutes in a day too, because we're getting
Yeah.
older, the body needs to be more flexible. So
That's
I
why I
know
keep moving, man. I got a lacrosse ball massaging massaging my back right now. You know what I mean? Like just for the knots and stuff like that. So
I got so many apparatuses to massage. One of my best ones right now is like I said, like the ball you got, I use on my glutes, and I
mhm.
just stand up against the wall and just roll it back and forth, and that releases so
The
much pain.
sciatica nerve.
Yeah, and it releases so much. Sometimes it releases knots and stuff from my back and little pains I have in my back right now.
Yeah,
So
that's what I'm dealing with right now too. So that's what I try to do also.
yeah, so we got people out there. Please stay tuned to us and take care of your health. It's definitely very, very important. And the more we do this, I'm going to, try to throw little tips out there. For you guys. The show is not scripted, so there's nothing written down. Most stuff we do, we talk right off the head and try to have fun. So this is real conversation with real people. And like I said, we're gonna have more people on here. Was there anything else that you like to cover or go over?
Well, we got
We
we
in here about an
touch on
hour.
parenting, a little work, Well, we did have some fun with football.
Yeah, it's gonna be an interesting with this last week of December going into next year. So college is about to end. Ohio State and Georgia, Michigan, and TCU. So that's gonna be fun.
Yeah, it sounds like we covered pretty much everything on the list.
I'll go ahead and end the show.
Man.
Well, this has been another episode of Talk with Us, and we had Hip on here today, doing a little financial, sports, and a little health talk. We'll talk to y'all later.
All right. Peace out.